Hi girls, this is Monique Santamara with Team A, otherwise known as Kawaii Mafia, and we pity the fool that tries to do what we do. So I am doing a makeup tutorial for the first time in my life. Please don't expect what you see on YouTube or elsewhere. And I have no idea what this lighting really looks like and how it's going to come out. I'm probably going to pile on a lot more than I normally would because I notice you can't really see it on camera. So what we did, because we're so cool, we're Team A, is we participated in all asking questions that I wrote down here. And I'm going to answer these questions as I go so that we can all participate as a team. We're all in different time zones. So I wish we could have done this together, but it probably doesn't work. So right now I am barefaced. And just so you know, it looks way better right now that I'm seeing than I normally would. Lighting is everything. So when you do your makeup, please make sure you're in good lighting so you don't torture yourself. It's like when you go to try on, God forbid, a bathing suit at the store. I swear the dressing rooms have the worst lightings ever. So I actually added an extra lamp here next to me. So hopefully that'll help. But because of that extra light, I'm going to have to put on more so that you can actually see it on camera. So first thing is, I usually do my makeup in 10 minutes in the morning or less. It's obviously going to take longer now because I'm going to try to explain a lot of things, but also tell you, like, if you wear less makeup, try this. If you wear more makeup, try that. So the first question I'm going to answer is from Scarlett. She asked about first-time makeup users. What are the basics? What do I have to purchase to do basic makeup for work? Brushes, sponge, foundation. I only have lipsticks. So I'm going to cover that. And I'm also going to start with Allison's question regarding primer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a day look, and I'm going to tell you that this is great for work, or if you're just going out, it's a casual day. And I'll tell you little things along the way that you can add if you want to make it a little more dramatic. And then at the end, I'll, with the same face, just tell you what I can add to make it more of a nighttime look. So the first thing is, you should start with a moisturizer. I just happen to have Mary Kay, but I just got a really good deal. I am not really impressed with it, to be honest. But I do recommend using any kind of moisturizer that has an SPF, and you want to do of at least 30. The brand and how much you pay for these is not important. So go to Walgreens, go to CVS, go to Walmart, buy a $5 moisturizer, a $10 moisturizer. If you have sensitive skin, then look for one on the bottle that'll say for sensitive skin or things like that. But you don't have to really worry about brand with this. A moisturizer is literally just putting moisture in your face, and you should do SPF. You can't tell right now, but because I used to fry myself in the sun, and not wear SPF on a daily basis, I have a really dark patch here, 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 and here. So I'm just going to put a little moisturizer on, and you want to do this before any other serums, or if you're going to use a primer, which I'll cover in a second, you want to put that on. So I just put about a dime size, and I just pat it everywhere. A trick is avoid the nose. You don't need extra moisture on your nose usually. Maybe on the corners you do. Maybe it gets a little dry right here, but on the nose itself, you don't need moisturizer. That'll help you not get blackheads and pimples. Just keep your nose clean. The other thing is go all the way down to the décolleté. So you really want to always get this area here with what you're doing, because you want to keep that nice and moisturized as well. So I'm just going to rub it in. There's no trick. Okay, you can do around the eyes, over your lips, and you just rub it in. There's no magic trick. You don't need to do it with a brush, but do make sure you wash your hands first. You don't want to be rubbing dirt into your face. A dermatologist told me once that the #1 cause of pimples and whatnot is actually not chocolate and bad eating and things like that, is dirt. So he said, make sure your makeup brushes are clean, wash your pillowcases, etc. So I would recommend, whether you're a makeup user or not a makeup user, and if you wear no makeup whatsoever, you just definitely put on some moisturizer with some SPF. The next thing is, that's good if you're a basic makeup user, and it's also very cheap, is a primer. Primer basically is like primer for paint. You're putting on something that's going to help everything else absorb into the skin, but they're not bad for the skin. They don't really clog it. This one that I'm using, I just got on one of those makeup subscription boxes. I think it was Ipsy, and I really liked it. But a great moisturizer or primer that is between $3 and $5. You can find at CVS, Walmart, Walgreens, is e.l.f. e.l.f. Beauty is a great place to buy also brushes. So Scarlett, you asked me about brushes. A lot of people will say you need to spend a lot of money on brushes because even if you have the right makeup, it's how you put it on. You really don't. That's BS. It's your skill in putting it on. So I could have a really bad brush and put on really good makeup, or I could have a really expensive brush, not that this is expensive, and put on really good makeup. So it's really not. It's your skill and just practicing. So you don't need to spend a lot of money on brushes. You can get a primer, again, e.l.f., which stands for eyes, lips, and face, at Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, and most of their products are between $3 and $10. And most people that are even experienced in makeup really like their moisturizers and primers. So I'm just going to take this and you're going to dab on less than this for what you did with moisturizer. So let's see if you can see this right here. So I would say like 2 P's, and again, just dot it, and you can put this under the eyes, on the eyes, and again, just rub down. We don't need to put this on the décolleté because all this is doing is helping our makeup stick. I don't really have a problem with makeup falling off, but you know, just feels good sometimes to do extra creams. All right, so the next step is we've done our moisturizer, we've done our primer. The next thing is foundation and concealer. By the way, at this step, if you are super into beauty and you have like serums, toners, all these extra little beauty products, this is an under eye moisturizer, this is a toner. If you have any of those, this is the stage that you would put it on. After the moisturizer, after the primer, put on any other little special creams you have, and then let it dry for just a few seconds. So back to foundation. Foundation, if you are sensitive of skin, that's where you're going to spend and should spend the most money. So things like eyeshadow, they're all the same. You don't need to spend a lot of money. Foundation, if you have sensitive skin, that's where you'll spend the money. However, one time I bought a really expensive foundation. I think it was like $35 or $40. It hurt my heart. I think it was the Kat Von D one that's known to even cover tattoos. I found one just like it. It's Revlon Color Stay at Walgreens, CVS, basically all your stores that you have. Now I'm in Texas, so we have Kroger and H-E-B, and you can find this anywhere, if not just go on Amazon. So Revlon Color Stay, it has tons and tons and tons of colors. I'm wearing shade 240. By the way you match your shade if you're at the store is you're not going to put it up to your face like this and say, does it match? You're going to put it right here on your hand, and that's where you can see if it matches. And then you're just going to rub it in and see. Okay. So this one will run you about $12 or $13, and most of the time it's buy one, get one half off. And so this is a really good coverage one. It's very simple. It delivers clean makeup to you every time because it has this little pump. This one's kind of running out on me, and I recently tried a new one also about the same price. This is by Maybelline. It's called Fit Me, and you can also find this in any of your local stores, and it's also about $12 to $15. This is going to last you probably 2 months, if not more, even if you use it regularly. This one does not have the little bottle, the little squeezer top, whatever that little doodad's called. So I'm just going to put my hand here, and I'm going to get some out and dab it on my face. So you see, pretty much I'm always doing this kind of like 4 dab thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could just do whatever you want, really. It's not that big of a deal. Try to start with a little less because you can always add more. And so I'm going to add that. Now I'm going to let that rest on my face for a second. Dark eye under circles was one of the questions that we had a lot. And that was from well, Judith, I think you also asked about hiding blemishes, but several of you asked on, I think Scarlett, Judith, you also asked about under eye circles. So I have a couple of suggestions. The most hardcore one, and the only thing I've ever spent money on regularly, is this concealer. It's IT Cosmetics. IT Cosmetics is the company, and it's called Bye Bye Under Eye. They have over 24 shades. I used to spend $24 on this. I'm using light medium, and it's now $12.50. I can't freaking believe that. This is also one of those products you'll see, or this company on HSN, QVC, whatever. This to me is the most coverage I've ever seen. So if you're looking to cover a blemish or dark circles is my number one issue. This is really helpful. You have to buy this online. I don't believe this is ever available in stores. You might check Sephora or Ulta, but it used to be only online. But again, now it's only $12.50. Also online is Be Bright Illuminating Concealer. And this one is between $3 and $6 on Amazon. And here's the brand, Koki. So Koki is the brand, Be Bright is the line, and then you choose your color. And I had one more option for you. Here it is, which I've run out. This is Instant Age Rewinder. This is also a concealer that has a little sponge here at the top. There it is. And you just turn it. Okay, so 3 different concealers. We can get these online. The biggest thing to remember when you're doing foundation or you're doing concealer, go lighter than your skin tone. Why? Because by the time you add on your powder and or your bronzer, you can always adjust. But when it's too dark, it's not going to do anything. Then think about it. We're usually trying to minimize dark spots. So we would use a lighter color. So I'm just going to use the IT Cosmetics, and I'm going to just put a very small amount here. Again, I cleaned my hands before, so I used a very, very small amount. I'm going to pat it here, and then I'm going to go under my eye and just pat it in little dots. Now, another trick. People usually just do under right here, like if it were a little circle, go in a triangle. The makeup artist Bobbi Brown, I heard her call this the triangle of light. Our dark circles are never just a perfect circle. They go down a little bit. So you're going to do a little triangle. And you're going to make sure you get the corner of your eye. And you're going to get the top of your eye. This covers all the darkness. Okay, this is going to make my eyeshadow go on with pure pigment. You don't need an eyeshadow primer and all that other stuff. Obviously, this is going to help the dark circles. And here, be very gentle on your eye. This is why usually you use your ring finger or your middle finger. You want to be gentle on that area. Then what I like to do is I take what's called a kabuki brush, which is just like this short, fat, stubby one. This is very easy to me. Some of the newer brushes that are out are like this. A different kind of brush, almost feels like you're using a paintbrush. I use this for a little bit, and after a few uses, I just preferred this. So all you're going to do is you're going to go in circles around your face. It really doesn't matter where you start. I avoid the eyes, and I'll show you why in a second. So you're just going to go in circles. Okay. And if you find, oh, you know what, I didn't put enough here in this one spot, you're just going to add a little bit to that spot. Don't add it to your brush, add it to your hand. And the reason for that is your brush is just going to soak up extra product and you're going to end up wasting a lot. So I know right here, I'm having some issue with acne, a little more here under the eyes and that dark spot that I told you about here and here. These dark spots, as I'm getting older, you guys, are like killing me. So now you can probably see it a little more since it's a little heavier. So all I'm going to do is circle, circle, circle. And then again, just circle around the whole face until you get that blended. That was probably easier to see because I put on a little more. So again, I'm putting on more because it's easier to see on camera. Okay. Now, biggest mistake people make with foundation, they just stop right here. They just go along their jawline and their chin and they stop. Then you get a line of demarcation. So you're going to have one color here, one color here. So always when you're done, just blend down like this. It's not a magic trick. Just go down like this. It doesn't matter really where you stop. It'll blend. Okay. And this makes your makeup look more natural. Also in the hairline here, just kind of go up a little bit in the hairline. If you get makeup in there, just go back with water when you're done. Do some little water here and it'll get it out. Now the eyes, I still use this same brush. I close my eyes. I make sure I get in the corner. Now under my eyes, a big mistake people do is they put this concealer on and then they just rub it off with their hands and do it super fast. They also rub it off with a brush and do this. Don't do that. Pat it in. And the reason you're patting it in is you don't want it to all go away, right? So pat it in. And then again, just do a general rub around. That's it. That's foundation. If you're not into foundation, for some reason you don't like it, something that's also very cheap and a little bit lighter, it's like a moisturizer mixed with a foundation. It's called CC cream, corrective cream. I'm using the Tarte brand, which is more expensive, but again, I just got this in one of those little makeup bags. Again, you don't need to spend more than 15 bucks on these. They usually come in smaller tubes as opposed to your foundations. They last a little longer because they have that moisturizer usually built in. And a lot of times they have an SPF built in. This one does, it's only SPF 15. You can order this on Amazon, go to your local store. You can usually go to makeup stores too, and they'll show you what color is matched for you. You can always try that. But again, test the color here on your hand. And you would do the same process, swirl it around with the brush, dot, 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 and put down. This is a good alternative if you just want to like go out to the grocery store or wherever you're going and you don't want to put like makeup on and you just kind of want to even out your face real fast and it not be heavy and have SPF and have moisturizer. CC cream is for you. CC is just the type. So if I say foundation, that's just a type of makeup. CC is a type of makeup. It's not a brand. But again, don't spend more than 15 bucks. All right, let me make sure I have everything here so far. I do. All right, now I'm going to do powder. I am using, just like I was using Revlon Color Stay foundation, I'm using Revlon Color Stay powder. I just happen to like this one. I think it's not too heavy. I like the little pad that it comes with. So I am wearing shade 830 light medium. Again, I go a little lighter than what my skin tone might be because it's easy to even out. So you can do many things. You can put this cute little sponge that they give you and use that and pat it around. I will use that method if I need particular coverage in a certain area. So I might do it here a lot in the middle of my forehead. So see how I put it on heavier so you can kind of see where the edge is. And then you can rub it out and do it that way. Or you can use a brush like your kabuki, but I have a different one that I use for powder and bronzer and whatnot. This I think is a little bit easier to make it even when you're doing it for people that are not used to makeup. So I just put it around, I swirl, I tap off the excess. And then again, I'm just doing the same thing as the foundation. I'm just going around in circles. Notice I'm not doing around my eyes. And I'm getting into that hairline and I'm also going down below the chin, right? We don't want that line of demarcation. So I'm adding a little more, tapping it off and just going everywhere. My face is gonna still look shiny because of these lights, but usually that takes away the shine. Now above my eye, I can just sit there and cover. Now below the eye, I do the same thing. Swirl, tap, and I'm gonna tap it into my face. It gives it, again, more coverage. And without wiping away everything we did before. Okay, and I go down. Also, powder on your lips, trick, will actually help your lipstick or your lip gloss stay longer once you do that. So, now, very simple. This next step you could totally skip if you are not into makeup. Another question I had asked here in the group, let me see who asked it. Moisturizing lipstick. Oh, how the heck do you do contouring, said Allison. So contouring is a way to make the face look sharper and also can make you look thinner. It can make your nose, which I have a huge nose. It can make your nose look smaller. It can make you see how I have this extra weight here. It could help that. It could help this slimmer, makes you look like you have more defined cheekbones. It's defining the face. It's really simple. You don't need 50 million colors and wands and sticks. Buy a cheap bronzer. Don't spend more than $5. Go to your local store. It really doesn't matter. The color, just don't buy something with sparkles. That's it. The colors are virtually the same. They're 2 or 3 shades from this. Just don't buy something with sparkle. That's it. And don't buy a cream. The creams are super hard to use. And unless you're an expert, I wouldn't recommend it. So the easiest way to use this, and you can skip this step if you're not into makeup, you don't really care about your face being defined. The other reason I like this is because when I am getting tanner, you know, I've had time in the sun and I'm still using my same powder. I'm not going to buy 3 powders for my different shades, right? So bronzer is a way to even it all out. And it's a way to kind of help it be the perfect color for your face. You always want to make sure that from here up is going to be the same color from here down. You don't want to be that girl that from here up looks like she put a mask on. So with this, use a lot less than you did with the powder for your face. So I'm just going to kind of go in there just a little and dab. I'm going to show you first, and then I'm probably going to have to do it a lot darker so that you can see. So don't be alarmed by the amount I'm using, but this would be my normal where I did like 2 swirls and a tap. Now, the easiest way to remember, if you remember nothing, is you're going to make a 3 on your face. So I'm going to make a backwards 3 here. It's going to go from my hairline to the cheekbone to the jawline. You can miss it by a whole inch or 2, it doesn't matter. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. So when you first do it, you literally are probably going to see a line. So I'm going to go like this and make that 3, right? And I don't know about you, but from what I'm seeing, I can only see it here. So I'm going to do it on the other side. Again, I'm going to make a 3. And if you miss it by an inch or 2, it doesn't matter. The point of this after is blending. Now, because I have this extra fat here, I'm just going to do a little below my chin. And I do have a big nose. So I'm going to do it on the side of my nose, not the very tip, but the side. And you could skip this. You may be like, I totally don't notice the difference. If you do it in person for yourself, you probably will. So again, I'm going to do a 3, and you don't have to do it this many times. Let me just do it a little bit more so you can see on camera. When I get off camera and I go say hi to my husband, he's going to probably be like, why the hell do you have so much makeup on? So I'm just showing you again so you can kind of see. Let me see if I move this slide, if you can see it a little bit more. There you go. You can probably see that darkness here a little bit more, right? Without that light. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to repeat that pattern, and then I'm just going to blend it in. So literally I'm just making a really rough line like this, really rough here, really rough here. Okay. And I'm going to blend it around that hairline. And then, like always, I'm going to go below the jawline, so I don't get that crazy line, right? We made a line, but we don't want it to be super defined, like so defined we look like we have a mask. So we're going to blend it down, and that chin and that nose. And then what I do to make it even more blended is I go through my whole face except the eyes with this bronzer. I have nothing on the brush. I didn't add anything. I'm just kind of spreading it around, right? Okay. My next step I do is blush. If you don't know what blush looks good on you, which I don't even think you can tell this color, this is like a mauve peach. A mauve peach is usually good if you're not sure what color to use. Try to avoid pink, 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 like my earrings pink, or that pink like this. It's usually not good on people. So try to do more of a mauve tone or a peach, or if you're not sure, a mauve peach. All these other crazy colors I see, maroons and all that other stuff. I don't know what people are doing with that, but it usually doesn't look good. So you're going to swirl, tap off the excess. Now here's the trick. I think we all know it goes on the cheekbone, right? Don't start at the apple of your cheek. No one has these cherub little cheeks except babies. No one has that. Actually start back here and go downward. It's going to give you more of that definition, and it's not going to have you looking like a clown where you've got these like rosy cheeks and then some kind of splotchy color over here. So I'm going to go really on that same line that I did my bronzer. Oh my God, I'm putting way more than I usually do because I don't think you can see this, but I'm going to try. And maybe what I'll do is I'll take an after picture so you can see a little bit better. Okay. Now, if when you do this, you go, wait, I have way too much bronzer. Like for me, I have too much bronzer and maybe blush that combined here. It's too much. Over here, it's looking fine. So all you do is if you mess up, just go back to your basic powder, and you can use your brush or this little pad. I'm going to use the pad. Put some on, and then I'm going to dab it right there. You see how it kind of lightened it up, and just kind of blend it, just because I put a little too much in that spot. So it's not a big deal. Now, other times you see people use a lighter contour. They have a dark contour like a bronzer, and they have a lighter contour that really looks the same as a concealer, except several shades lighter. If you want to do that, you can put it down your nose here, which again just adds light and definition to your face. They also do it below the eyebrow, which I'll show you in a second, and they do it below the cheek and on your Cupid's bow here. Doing it here makes your lips look a little bit bigger. I don't need any bigger lips, so I'm not going to do it, but well, here, I'll do it just to show you. Pretend this is an illuminator. Again, it's a concealer with lighter colors. So they just do a line like this. They do their Cupid's bow, and then they do right here, which I'm not going to do because that's just way too much for me and you're not even going to see it on camera. But this here, you just pat it in, and it's just going to accentuate how big your lip looks. And then here you can just kind of pat it in. And then to kind of blend it a little more, you can use that brush you were using for your powder and just kind of go over it really quickly so you don't get some kind of crazy look, right? At this point, if you see any darkness, you're like, oh, I have this really bad pimple over here. There's this one spot around my eye that still looks bad. Just go back to your concealer, just add a little bit so it doesn't get too cakey, but you can go back to any of those concealers I recommended and just do a little dab. So let's pretend I had a really big zit here, which I have one over here that's kind of going away. Miraculously, I don't have a bigger one. But I would just put a little dot, even though we've done our powder, even though we've done everything else. You just put it there, kind of dab it in with your finger, just a little bit where you can still see it, which I don't think you can see it on camera right now. Go back with your brush and just pat it, and that's it. You can do it at this point. All right, eyeshadows. If you're not used to makeup, or even if you are, I think it's good that you always have a neutral palette. So this one is by a really cheap brand, LA Colors. I got it CVS, Walgreens, something like that. And this other one I got is from Maybelline. I got it on Amazon, but I could have gotten it in the store. So you can see these shades are a lot of browns, light browns and tans, shades of pink. It's usually shades of pink, if you will, or browns. Sometimes you'll have a little purple in there. You'll see the little purple here, a little blue, a little green, and then you'll have the darker ones over here, like the grays and the blacks. And I'll show you what we can do with that. We can do a couple things. And then you'll have a white. So I have like the white or the light ones here, which you see I use. And then over here in this corner, the white, but just do something neutral. Don't spend more than $15. Okay. Eyeshadow and quality to me doesn't really matter. It's all the same. I could wear an eyeshadow that cost me $10 for 15 of them, or I can get one from MAC Makeup or Special Things. It's all the same. It's a pigment on your eye. It's really not that big of a deal. How it spreads and all that other stuff is just a myth. You can use any kind of brush you have. Recently, I bought these one that looks like mermaids. Again, you can buy a whole pack of brushes. I would spend no more than 20, 25 bucks. You can go on Amazon. You can go anywhere. They usually have way more brushes than you're ever going to use. This is like 5 of the 20 it came with. You really can use any brush for eyeshadow. Just try it out and see what's going to work best. They have all these special ones, like an angled one for contouring and corner of your eyes. They have these flat ones, and then they have these like big brushes, this little fat one. I'm just going to use the little fat one. The biggest thing with your eyes is this. You start with light and you work darker your way out. So your lightest color is going to be in the corner. Your medium color is going to be in the middle. Your darker color is going to be on the outside and the crease. And you think that sounds really difficult? It doesn't. So I'm going to start with just this sort of pink shade. Let me make sure I'm pointing this pinky peach shade here. And maybe mix it with a little bit of the white. And I'm actually going to do the corner of my eye and then go outward. And you can see I'm doing it very sloppy. This isn't like rocket scientist. The reason you do lighter on the corner is because you want to bring lightness to the corner of your eyes. If you don't, it's going to look like you have even darker circles and you're just going to have this weird like vampire-y look going on. So to open up your eye and to make you look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, you're going to do this lighter color, which again, I'm sure you can't see, but I'm not a YouTuber, so I don't have like these fancy cameras and stands and everything like that. So I'm doing the corner of my eye because we hold that darkness in the corner. And I'm just going to about the middle or go the whole way to the end. It really doesn't matter with the light color. Okay. Maybe you can see it's a little lighter here as opposed to like if I look on the camera over here, it looks darker. Then I'm going to go to a more medium shade. So I'm going to do something like this one here, this little tan one or this tan one. I'm going to stay away from these darker ones. Okay. In this palette for the medium, I'm going to probably stick to these right here or this one here. And I'm going to stay away from the purples and the darks. So I'm going to do a lot more again than I normally would because I'm going to hope that you see this on camera, and I'm using a laptop and not a phone or something else I can zoom into my face. So you're just going to have to take it like this, ladies. So again, using those medium shades, and I'm kind of like blending 4 or 5 just because I feel like it. You're going to go in the middle of your eye and work your way out to the outside corner. It's not rocket sciences. If you mess up, add more to the corner light or just keep blending. And again, I'm going to go a lot more than I usually do so that you can hopefully see a little bit better. There we go. Oh my God, my husband's going to be like, what the hell with all this makeup? Now, again, these are day looks. This is for work. There we go. You can see that one a whole lot more, which I'm getting that all over the place. And I'm using this flat brush here. If you're not used to that or you want to use a different one, go with this one here. And you can kind of blend it. You can go in a circle. The point is just go from the middle to the outside corner. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. And after you practice a few times, you're going to see it gets easier. Okay. So I'm at the middle of my eye. Now what I'm going to do with the same amount that's on my brush, I'm just going to go into the crease because it just helps blend it. Okay. Now at this point, you just choose, you can choose the same medium shade that you were using. You can go a little darker. I can add a little more of this mauve right here or some of the deeper tans, not these super dark ones. So I'm going to add a little bit, and all I'm going to do is put a brush, whatever brush you have, just put it in the outside corner and work not all the way in, but a little past the middle. Why not all the way in? Because again, we don't want to bring that dark color into the inside corner. And all you do, just put your face up like this. You know how like when you do mascara and you got to open your mouth and go, just put it in the crease there. Try to put mascara on without opening your mouth. I don't think it's possible. So again, the questions, girls, about asking for daytime and everyday, just stick to those neutrals no matter what your skin tone is. Just stick to those neutrals. Add a little more as you go. You can always add more. If you find that you put too much, either use a makeup remover in just this area, or you can dab a few dabs of your foundation or a few dabs of your concealer and kind of fix it. So for example, I don't know if it's just the lighting because I didn't bring another mirror to look at, but it's darker for me here than it is here. So because I use darker, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap a little bit of my foundation there to kind of even it out a bit. And I'm just going to use my finger. There we go. There we go. Much more even. And again, same brush, didn't add anything. Just go in my crease to kind of even it out. Okay, a little bit better. I'm hoping that any of this color is showing up. Let me see if I leave it or I move this light if we're seeing it a little bit more. Okay. So at this point, if you want to do a nighttime look, you can add a darker color. Actually, I'll do that after. I don't want to confuse you. We're still in the daytime. Now, here's the part where it depends on how much makeup you like. Are you sensitive? Are you not? You can, at this point, you can add eyeliner. There's lots of different eyeliners. There's a pen, which I do not recommend, and it sounds easier to use. It tugs at your eye and it can hurt. There's liquid that's in the form of a bendable brush. This is a blue one. So that brush is bendable. Okay. If you want your eye to pop, particularly if you have brown or blue eyes, you can use a blue eyeliner, and it really is not as scary as it sounds. You can get so close to your lash line and make it so thin that it really works and makes that eye pop. So if you are not experienced, believe it or not, a liquid eyeliner is easier. And then there's liquid eyeliner like this. It's also like a brush, but it's more spongy and it doesn't bend. It also, you see that fine point. It's so easy to get super close to the lash line. I'm just going to show you on my hand here how small I can make this line. Well, this one got smudged here at the end, but you can make the line super small, very light. So a lot of these browns and blacks, you can adjust the color by how hard you press. So on this one, I'm pressing harder and I'm using the brush more and more to create a thicker line. So you see how light, light and thin, a little thicker and darker, darker and thicker. Do whatever you're comfortable with. So I'm not going to do it because I really can't even see, but you would just follow your, well, here, I'll try your lash line. Actually, I really can't see. We're going to pretend that this is really going on. I don't know what the hell I look like. And here's the trick. I do not go all the way to the inside of the eye. It's going to end up rubbing away. It's going to get all crooked and weird if you're not used to it. Wherever your lash starts, which mine starts about here, I would start there and do a really small line. Just stay as close to your lash line as possible. Okay. I can't believe I'm doing this. The things I do for this kawaii group. Jen, this is all your fault, even though you're not going to watch this for a while, if at all. Okay. I personally do not suggest putting eyeliner on the bottom, either on the inside or the outside. So some people will do this right here under the lashes, and some will do it, not usually with this, but with a pen on the inside of the eye. Particularly somebody with dark circles, I wouldn't recommend it. It ends up dragging and it's just too much. You can if you want, but I find that it drags. Now, before putting on mascara, I use an eyelash curler. Those that don't use makeup, this might absolutely petrify you, rightfully so. You don't have to do it. The reason people use eyelash curlers is it makes your lashes go up and it makes them nice and long and curly. The reason I started to use an eyelash curler is because on each corner of my eye, I had two hairs that were going inward. So that would drive me crazy. So if you do this, you just grab your lashes and pinch a couple times. It doesn't hurt, but you can definitely stab yourself in the eyeball if you're not used to it, and you just squeeze again, and it just makes the lashes a little bit longer. Now, I'm not close enough to really see, but if I was, I could get closer and you could see more of the difference. But again, this would be like before and after picture thing. Mascara. Mascara is really particular to you. I know girls that wear $5 mascaras and love it, ones that swear by $30 mascaras and love it. This is really just up to you. I'm using Essence Lash Princess, and this is on Amazon for about $8, and I just happen to like it. But the brushes, whether they're close, they're spaced out, whatever the case may be, it's just up to you. You just got to try it out. So try out some cheap ones and see how it goes. I just happen to like this one, but this is one of those, no one can tell you what the best mascara is. It's up to you and what works for your eyelashes. What I will tell you is with mascaras, I'm going to do the wrong thing. Don't do this. We're not fighting. We're not sparring. The reason you don't do it is because you're putting oxygen into that little hole, and it's going to make this coagulate and make it all yucky. A magic trick, and I do mean magic, to extending the life of your mascara and making sure it's not clumpy. Put 1 drop of contact solution, 1 or 2 on the brush and 1 or 2 on the inside. Then do 1 or 2 pumps, that's it. And it refreshes your mascara and makes it last at least 3 weeks longer, but it's literally magical. Like if you don't wear contacts, buy contact solution for your mascara. So the other thing I see people do with mascara that's wrong is they do this wiggly thing, wiggly at the bottom, wiggly at the top, or like my mother, she beats herself with it. You don't need to beat yourself with it, just gently, gently. Actually, I just remembered I have a mirror on this compact for my powder, so I'm gonna use that. If I can get it open so that I can actually see. Well, you know what? I didn't do that bad of a job on my eyeliner. except I have a bunch of powder that I dropped below my left eye, which I'll fix that in a second. So notice that I'm starting at the baseline and I'm going upward, okay? I'm not beating my eyeballs. I'm not mad at my face. Let me wipe away this powder that I got here. It looks like one of the darker powders on my eyeshadow got below my eye. So I'm just kind of fixing that here, wiping it away. Do my other eye. Now with mascara, I don't ever think one coat is enough. It doesn't make it too thick for me. When I do it slowly like this and just pull upward, I'm not shaking. I'm not doing all these other things, wiggling it back and forth. But I always like to do more than one coat, but I like to let it dry a little bit. It does not get clunky. Don't keep doing it if it gets clunky. If your mascara is already getting clunky by this time, either switch mascaras or add some contact solution. Okay, let me see, I got something in my eye right here. So this is just 2 coats. Now, if you have sensitive eyes, try mascara for sensitive eyes. I think the brand Almay has one, and I think waterproof might help you. There's also mascaras that have no color. They're just a clear gel-like thing. And that might help some of you that are sensitive, or you just don't want makeup, or you're like, I might jump in the pool later. Just use a clear one. Eyebrows. Eyebrows are the windows to the face. They're important. All I do with my eyebrows right now is I just use a spoolie and I brush them. And the reason I do that is to get any powder and things on it, off of it that we put on. And then also just to tame my eyebrows to be brushed and going in the same direction. If you decide to fill in your eyebrows and you need some help, a suggestion I have is to not buy an eyebrow pencil that'll kind of look like this, and you have to, you know, make these little strokes. They suggest to do like this and make little lines, and you can do it thicker, and then you brush it and you do all these things. I think that's really intimidating. There's gels, there's all kinds of crap. Something I want you to try if you want to fill in your eyebrows and you have, like mine sometimes have this gap here, or I want to make them a little longer. I just use one of my eyeshadows. It doesn't drag, it's not intimidating. And to lighten it up, I just keep brushing and brushing. I don't think it's going to translate on camera, but you'll use a stiff brush like this. Doesn't matter if it's angled, not angled. The point is just to have it stiff so I can kind of follow the shape of my eyebrow. So what I'm going to do is, because I have black hair, I'm going to use these deeper grays. I'm just going to pat in it. And then I'm just going to fill in these parts of my eyebrows that are a little sparse and kind of make this line a little longer at the end. Let me see if I can make it a little more dramatic for you on camera. There we go. So you can see it just a little bit more. Again, eyeshadow is so much better than these gels, these eyeline, or not eyeliner, these pens for brows. It's so intimidating to do that. And this is so much easier. You just tap it in, just follow your eyebrows. Not a big deal, but always, always, always go through with a spoolie brush. If I'm doing a daytime look or anything, I always like to have my eyebrows done because it makes a huge difference on the face. So if you go too dark on your color, 2 things, keep brushing, keep brushing. This will really lighten it up a lot. Or even add a little powder, just dab it on and then brush, and you'll see it'll be totally fine. It's not that big of a deal, but especially at the ends here, if you extended your line, brushing it is going to make it look totally natural. You see how that doesn't look like I drew some crazy line? You see? All right. Now, if we're in a daytime look, you can use a lip gloss, a lipstick, whatever. This is kind of a mauve-y one, which you're probably not even going to see on camera. Again, adding that powder before helps it kind of stay. I don't do lip liner and all that stuff. I just think it's like extra work. Okay. The other thing to not necessarily do with your lipstick that I see people do is they go like this, and then they do like the bottom, and then they go. I don't know why people do that. Your lip at the top and the bottom are a completely different shape. So when you do this, you're inevitably going to get it in spots that it's not supposed to be in. For me, you see how much bigger my lower lip is, which most of us do, than my top. It's just going to get this big lower lip to go up here where it doesn't need to be. So I just follow the lines of my lips, and I might pat it, right? But I'm not doing that movement back and forth. Another trick, if you don't want lipstick on your teeth ever, 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 I don't have a napkin, so I'm just going to use this little makeup wipe. Put a napkin around your finger, or if you don't have one, I guess you're just going to use your finger. Just wrap it around, and you're just going to put your mouth on it naturally and pull. That's it. Put your mouth naturally on it, pull. What that does is removes the perfect amount that's on the inside of the lip that will be on the teeth. So you're not going to have anything on your teeth ever, ever, ever by that. Like literally it works every time. So let me look down here. I think I covered everything. So for those of you that maybe you have this face on and you want to go out later with your spouse or your girls, or you're just at home and you want to look really sexy while you're having a glass of wine, I'm going to take this from daytime to nighttime look. Essentially from day to night is just more and darker. So there's a couple things I can do. I can add more bronzer and blush to my cheekbones. I don't think I need that. I can add darker eyeshadow, which I am going to do, and I'm going to show you. Remember those palettes that we had that have those darker colors? And we can also add lipstick. So one of the things that Angie said is she really only likes moisturizing lipstick. So in this case, I found this on one of those makeup bags that I got. I really recommend this one. I'm going to use red so you can see. And it's because it's my grandma's favorite. This is NYX or NYX brand. I think this runs about 10 bucks. It lasts a bajillion years, and it's called Butter Lipstick. So I don't know what this color is. Is that the color? No, I don't know. Forget the color. Who cares? It's red. But the butter of the NYX, not only is it the softest, most moisturizing, I can't do those matte lips where it's like dry looking and it's not shiny. I don't know how that became a style. No offense if you like it. And I don't, those lip stains and everything, they just dry and crack and all that. So this brand is really good. And even though it's moisturizing, it lasts a really long time. So I'm going to put that on last. But what I'm going to do again is I'm not adding more bronzer and blush, but you can do that to take it to a nighttime look. You just add the exact same thing you did the exact same way before, just make it a little darker, or you're kind of touching up. I'm going to go back to my palettes. We use the lights and the mediums. Now, let's say I'm wearing a purple dress or something like that. I can add a little now. Or in my case, I'm just going to do a smoky eye, and I'm going to add these grays and blacks. I'm going to use the same brush I did before. And all I'm going to do when I'm adding for night is a little bit of the outside corner and follow the crease. So for me, I'm just going to get some of this gray, and I'm going to pat on the corner, do the crease. And I'm going to do that on each eye, pat in the corner, do the crease. And follow it. And the corner, you just do like a little circle towards the inside. And follow the crease. And again, look how I went darker on this side and also higher and further than I did on this side. A little bit is the light. I'm just going to come back with some foundation or some concealer, and I'm just going to tap it on that part that I did a little too much. And I'm going to go, in this case, with my powder brush and just kind of pat it in there so it's not so bad. Then you can do, at this point, more eyeliner, or go ahead and do the line on the inside if it doesn't drag for you. For me, it always does. Do not put on more mascara. It's going to be clumpy. And it's also, because this is so dry already, it's going to fall to the bottom of your eyes. It's going to start flaking off and falling inevitably. The last thing you can do is add a darker lipstick. So we started with a neutral lip, and we're going to do a darker lip. Let's see if I can do this without any other help. And again, just pat. We don't need to do that whole thing excessively. Okay. And our trick of the napkin, putting our finger around it, or just your finger if that's all you have. Put the lips on it gently and pull. See how it pulled off the exact amount that I need? I do it one more time just to be sure. See how now it's much lighter? There's almost nothing there. And if I do it now, there's going to be nothing there because it's going to be perfect. Nothing. So this is your day to nighttime look. Let me take out this rat's nest and just, whatever, do whatever with your hair. But makeup is not that bad. It doesn't have to be expensive. I think I covered all your questions. Oh, a sponge versus a brush. I don't have it right now, but those little sponges that are round like this and pointy, you would do the same thing, but it's a lot of padding. So kind of like I did with the powder brush and a lot of padding, you would do that. It's really just a matter of preference. If you like the sponges like this, a brush like that, or those sponges, I can't remember the actual name of it, those like kind of cone shaped ones, it's really just up to you and what you like. So hopefully you learned something today. I'll take a picture so maybe you can see it a little better. Probably go scare my husband because I have like way more makeup on than normal, because you may or may not be able to see it on camera right now. See if you close my eyes. But I hope you enjoyed this, girls, and maybe it helps some of you. If you ever need makeup tips, not like I'm an expert, but I do like sharing, then let me know and I'll try to help. Love you. Bye.